illusions of grandeur, what I believe to drive a man to be homosexual. To think one could go about just hiddling about in every hole that looked hungry is absurd. Sure, we all want to, but what would happen to the order of things? What's the matter, Bob? You know, I have an inquiry for you, Karnov. May I call you Karnov?
You may call me Brevet Captain Singh. Captain Singh? Or Captain?
You may have assumed I am quite a worldly man. Marco Polo of sorts. I certainly am, but I've been wondering for the longest time. What the devil kind of music do your people listen to? Oh, don't billy cat me, Bob. What kind of sounds make you feel like you're back in the dead, learning to sleep to the sounds of your friends assembling skulls into a candelabra?
You're asking me what music I listen to? I could name 100, you would not even know one.
Try me.
Ravi Shankar?
Ah, nuts. You got me. I'll get the next one.
Lieutenant?
Brevet Captain?
What about you, Lieutenant? What kind of tunes make you feel like a man? Great gusts of emotion and all.
Give me a break, Commodore. The Stones are the greatest band God's ever had the grace of putting on this earth, no question.
The Rolling Stones, huh? You'll find it flattering to know that Mick Jagger and I once found ourselves on opposite sides of Margaret Nolan. I really thought that girl was something, but I was only half of what she wanted.
Yeah, you met Jagger and I'm pen pals with Big Red Bow.
Bet your bully's balls I did. I distinctly remember him telling me that when he played his tunes for Yanks, he had to imagine himself surrounded by Scots so he wouldn't feel as filthy. Scots!
No dice, I don't buy it for a second. How about you, Kozlov? The Stones are the shit, right? The Rolling Stones? You don't know the Rolling Stones are the greatest band of all time.
No, the greatest band of all time belonged to Tchaikovsky.
Seriously, man? A composer?
One of the greatest composers of all time. Did your Rolling Stones use cannons as the base for an overture?
They could totally do it.
Ha! Nick around cannons. What a ridiculous thought.
No, they could totally... Shit, check this out, I can't get no boom, 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 satisfaction. Boom, boom, boom. Copy. It's a D-181 destroyer. She's German-made.
Don't be so sure, Charlie. The buggers are flying the flag of the Turk.
You both could not think of any reason why the Germans would want to supply the Turks?
The Turkish army had exhausted itself during its blitz through the smaller nations of the Middle East. Iran had nearly fallen, but the Turks didn't have the economic backbone that allowed the Germans to stage what seemed like a never-ending attack. So the Germans worked out a deal in which all excess German weaponry would be traded, in exchange for the oil needed to continue the incursion into Russia. Furthermore, the Germans saw a clear advantage in uniting with the Turks to further surround the Soviets with a southern front.
What's next?
I'll prepare countermeasures.
You need to maneuver and get us into a better position.
No, I need to prepare countermeasures so the enemy cannot strike us down.
Ah, what the hell? Hit them with our finest right hook.
Belay that! Pipe down, I got this!
Have some respect. I've been fighting these warships for 2 years.
Excuse me, boy. How far out are we from our target?
200 meters.
And Charlie, my boy, if you get a little message to our
You
prey,
wanna chat? What the hell for?
just trust me. Make sure those fish are ready to fly on my mark.
This better be something.
Teslim aluyuruz. Gel albezi. Cheers.
They're still approaching, you moron.
What the hell was that?
I surrender.
You're stupid or just insane.
Don't lose heart just yet.
Glad you're having fun, Commodore, but you're not the captain and I didn't agree to roll over!
Now!
They're scrambling.
Show lads!
A false surrender? Are you insane?
Eyes on the window, ain't it?
This is not a joke. You've committed a war crime.
War crime. Don't be sad. It was an ace shot by our talented young man here. Besides, we only kneecapped the beast. They can still easily call for aid.
I'm with Singh here. I had that under control.
You had nothing under control. The Commodore was out of line, but that does not make you the answer.
You think we just forgot about your little accident?
You are a very vain little man, and I would be dead before I follow your half-baked, unserious attitude.
And you better get dying, partner. Don't think you're gonna get another shot until the rest of us have a turn.
If the other two wanted a shot, I would hear them out. Hell, I would vote for the Commodore before you.
Maybe the Commodore should get a turn.
Oh, you think so, do you?
What? You brought it up. You gone yellow all of a sudden?
You are a real piece of...
Come on, Singh. I thought India's best would have a sturdier spine.
Fine! I gladly cast my vote for the Commodore.
Ditto.
And with a third vote, so Norman Evers wins by a landslide.
According to his autobiography, Norman Evers was born Norman Rundolph, son of Nancy and Bertram Rundolph in the Merton borough of London. By the time of the Blitz in 1940, Norman was 14, living alone with his father after his mother had died of pneumonia when he was 5. Norman and his father took shelter in London's subway tunnels, but upon returning to the surface, Norman's father was nowhere to be found. Young Norman soon faced the truth that his peers were so willing to tell him. His father had fled, leaving Norman to lie about his age and join the Royal Navy at the age of 15. Norman's story is little more than a series of gruesome and disheartening anecdotes, but it would go on to be used as a point of triumph by the British government for the following decades.
Despite my disdain for democracy, I'm honored to accept your nomination. It may have come later than I was expecting, but I'm glad Betty and Polly have finally come home from the schoolyard. I was actually beginning to think I'd made a great blunder in signing up for this mission.
Signed up? What do you mean signed up? We were all selected as the top soldiers.
Yes, selection was made, but when I saw that some bright-eyed young man from Cornwall was deemed the nation's top soldier, I wouldn't have it. By right of rank, I shifted some things around.
What could have possibly driven you to such a decision?
Believe it or not, it's actually been some time since I've been looked upon with reverence. Sure, small folk ask for pictures and autographs, but the decision-makers of Great Britain seem to have forgotten my hand in liberating Europe all those years ago. I've been in a tube over it for quite a while. Scotch, become a dastardly friend of mine.
So, let me get this straight, boss. You've been letting us think you're some kind of war hero when really you're nothing but Jerry Lewis?
If by Jerry Lewis you mean the man who used to crawl into German nests and strangle snipers, then yes, Jerry Lewis indeed.
We understand that you served in World War II, Commodore, but what have you done since then?
I have gotten enough sludge from the idols of high society. I don't need to be interrogated by men of inferior rank. And, for your information, I've played a crucial role in my country's time of need. I've traveled the nation, speaking and telling jokes to soldiers in need, to raise morale.
I was selected Because of my merits, even Lieutenant Robinson here was selected for his great work in the field. Captain Kozlov, do you not find this insulting?
What difference does it make?
What difference? Do they just throw around the rank of captain willy-nilly in the Red Army? In India, this is an honor to be earned!
No, I don't see how you two are arguing over this. You are the ones who put him in charge.
I expected a lot of nonsense out of you, but I didn't think even the Soviets would send someone so chicken shit.
Kurva! I cast my vote for Norman.
Martin's mustard! It's unanimous then. If only I could see the look on those pompous fools' faces if they could see me now. Gentlemen, let us set our course for the Suez Canal. I still believe it to be our most effective course of action.
You have already established that you're insane, Commodore. There's no need for you to drag us onto a suicide mission!
I told you to set a course, Captain. We'll have a little peek at the canal and find our best way through. Prepare for a fight, gentlemen. You're being led by pure gusto now. I once held off 24 chariots with nothing but a swiped MP and my good mate Bogey Nelson. It's a damn shame what happened to his head. Suppose we're all the devil's biscuits at the end of the day. Charlie, see what kind of playmates we can acquire in the Red Sea. Kozlov, stay at the ready. Oh, and don't be afraid to smile every now and again.
You know, Lieutenant, you perplex me.
Well, they have a place in that big noggin of yours. Figure it gets busy in there.
You have no business being on this list.
Says who?
Someone who does.
Do I intimidate you, Singh?
See, right here. This is what I'm talking about. Always going for the escalation. I think I have a theory.
Why don't you fill us in, cadet?
Okay, from the Commodore's ability to just hijack a spot on here, and your careless up-jump demeanor, it seems like your nations have decided on soldiers who are worth media points much more than strategic advantage. Maybe that is the strategic advantage.
What? You're just now figuring out the mission to unite the coalition and cause a little fanfare?
The mission to unite the coalition involves acts of heroism. It is such a shame that your nations are too jaded to see how important it is that we believe in this mission.
Look, Carl, I'm impressed you got the balls to take a shot at the US of A, but don't you dare try to say we don't care. I give as much of a shit about ending this war as anybody else.
We'll see.
How goes the long sit? What is it, gentlemen? Do I smell like the devil's donut?
Commodore, I'm obligated to ask by what practical means do you plan on crossing the Suez?
Come on, Singh. Cut the guy some slack. He's just trying to have a good time.
Thank you, Charlie. To answer your question, Captain, I need to do so covertly.
Huh, but what does that mean?
You'll know when the time comes. Be silent and do your jobs, the lot of you.
Thanks to Mrs. Dumpke generously allowing me to use her desk for this demonstration, I bring you the Suez Canal. This canal has been invaluable to global trade since its conception, but during the Third World War, this was a crucial choke point between India and the larger Axis forces. On the side of my desk is Egypt, which by this point has capitulated to the Turks. And on the side of Mrs. Dumpke's desk is, well, also Egypt, but where I'm standing is under direct Turkish control. You see, in their capitulation, the Egyptians allowed the Turks to build a series of forts along the canal, and besides that conventional lockdown of the waterway, the Turks also allowed their submarine fleet through to patrol, so that nobody could pass through the canal without the consent of the Turks. All of this to say that if there is one place you cannot attack besides the United States or Berlin, between these two desks. Sorry, Mrs. Dumpke, I'll have this back in a second. No, I'm sorry, I understand. Okay. Guys, 1 second.
What's the word, Charlie? Any of our allies coming to assist in our passage?
Nobody can afford to send us anything big enough to make a difference. I mean, the Portuguese are willing to say a prayer, but that's about it.
Bollocks!
Commodore, we are approaching the Suez Canal. There is no shame in turning around.
I have heard enough patter out of you, Captain. We push on for king and country.
Look, boss. This is nuts. There's not a shot in hell we're getting through there.
I won't have either of you questioning my authority. If we cannot cross in the conventional sense, perhaps we'll blast our way through.
You're not seriously suggesting that we deploy a nuclear payload this close to target?
And what if I was, Captain Singh?
You'd be forced to refuse, sir.
You deny your captain's direct orders, would you?
I would do the same thing. There's no way I'm dying so you can feel like the hero again.
Excuse me, Lieutenant?
Well, yeah, man, that's why you're here, isn't it? You felt silly after being paraded around all the time, so now you're here to feel useful again. No point trying to hide it.
Be careful, boy. I may have had my fair share rest after a gruesome world war, but I haven't forgotten how to put a man on the ground.
Your fair share. You won't shut up about how you party with celebrities and inspired the troops, but what have you actually accomplished?
You're not helping, Lieutenant.
He can take care of himself. Maybe you forgot how. All you do is smile and wave at the people who actually risk their lives. I mean, you're the mascot. No one really cares about the mascot.
Don't you dare talk to me like they talk to me! None of you were there! You didn't see bodies piled up as high as you and me! You didn't see what they did to people in those camps! Your boys! Sing, back to navigation. Robinson, get on transmission. And Kozlov, if you don't wipe that fucking look off your face, I'll have you court-martialed! If we cannot cross, we'll give them an ugly fight. For the four of us, we'll take thousands of them, and the horns of glory will ring triumphantly as they welcome our ascent to the heavens. The whole world will remark upon our sacrifice. Damn you! Stop it! Don't be a bastard by order of your captain! Kozlov!
Well, in that case, what are we still doing with this?
I wouldn't pass judgment so quickly.
Kozlov, what possible reason could you have to justify the Commodore's actions?
I've seen this before. Nothing poisons the soul more than...
We've all seen war. That's why we're here.
I'm not talking about war.
Maybe Kozlov's got a point.
I'm sorry?
To be fair, we elected the guy captain. Besides, the Brits need a representative on the ship anyways. It may just be easier to keep him.
What are we going to tell your president?
You leave Kennedy to me.
Kennedy. Jack's the nation's favorite guy.
Heroes of the Coalition, I come to you in a time of great distress for our cause. Although I've had little luck getting Congress to budge, I have hope that my country's senators will do the right thing and allow us to destroy this German menace. With our combined strength, we can assure that the crimes committed by this Axis will not stand. In the meantime, I intend to use your progress in my upcoming State of the Union address
What do you have to report, gentlemen?
I'm sorry, Mr. President, but we have nothing to report. We made a collective lapse in judgment and tried to cross the Suez.
You'd better be pulling my leg, Lieutenant. Gentlemen, let me remind you of the dire importance of your mission. The German army have broken through the Russian line, and as of last night, the city of Orsk has been burned to the ground.
What of the 49th Rifle Division?
Much like the civilian population, we have to assume all military personnel have been killed or relocated. What's important is that you gentlemen complete the task at hand.